Chris, obviously down 3-0 on aggregate was a big hill to climb, but what did Atlanta do to you in the middle of the park to try and prevent you from at least cracking the aggregate?
Well, look, their structure 5-3-2, that we knew that it would look like that. Again, it wasn't a secret. When you play like that, yeah, it's just in the width of whatever it is, 44 yards. It's just tough to, for us to really attack the spaces that we're used to because the way we play. But we knew that, so coming in, we knew there would be space on the flanks. We tried to open them up in different ways with width, and we did it at moments. Whether it's in the run of play or set pieces, yeah, I mean, there's a few chances to make some plays tonight, and we were close on a bunch. So you give them a lot of credit over the course of the series. They limited our big chances, and congrats to them. But there's a fine line in these games and these plays. So mostly I'm just proud of the guys, the way we competed in the series and on the year.
Dylan.
Hey, Chris. When the group got together very early in preseason, the discussion amongst the group that this was the best version of yourselves that you had, and you can make a real run at the Cup. For it to come just short of reaching that, what's the kind of raw emotion right now for you guys?
Look, in our sport, I don't think you harp on this too long. It's such a rigorous schedule. You're in it every day. You don't stop. When you lose, it's a screeching halt. In a few days maybe, or even in some time, you'll stop and look back, and we'll feel good about the job being done and what the guys accomplished. The emotion is, it hurts. We win the series, we host MLS Cup. We got really close once again, maybe the closest in terms of, hosting that final would have been a treat. But, our guys stand tall in that locker room. They stood tall to the end of the game. The way they fought, stuck together. Should there be more than 4 minutes of stoppage, like a standard 4 minutes? It's still surprising to me, but maybe not. So it hurts. That's what the emotion is. Our season's over, and in time we'll feel good about the work that was done. That's for sure.
Andrew in the back.
Chris, what was your message to the team after the game?
There's wasn't a whole lot of words to say. I'm not sure who would have that much to say, but the message was how proud I was of the team. Then all the years of playing, you lose most of the time. It's just the way it is, right? Even the greatest of all time, you play for 20 years and maybe you win 5 trophies. Like, what is it? But that's what it is sometimes, and most of the time. So that it shared my experience, that it always made me ask hard questions about myself and how can I do better, what can I do more, and it always made me hungrier to come back next year, and that was the message. Also, to feel good about what was done, and now's not the time so much, right? They're down, but guys, keep your heads up. It was incredible. The way you guys won the Shield, no one thought you'd do it. So to win 5 games at the end of the year when we couldn't slip up once, we didn't. We won a major trophy, and thanked them for the support and the effort that they give the coaching staff and the organization all the time. We ask a lot of the players, and I thanked them for that.
Got Leander in the middle.
How do you look back on this season, and how do you see it fitting into this 6-year period where you've won the Supporter Shield 3 times now, but then always come up short in the postseason?
It just makes us hungrier. It's gonna come. That's the mentality. It's there's not. I will never be a person or a coach to think about, wow, we lost. For me, we've won a lot since we've been here. Major success. And with the club and the organization, Dennis, what they're building, the academy, USL, it's incredible. It's not talked about, but it's incredible. The work Jesse did here, not talked about. It's incredible. So we focus on all the good that we do. And we get to work every day. We don't cut one corner. We show up early, we leave late, and you keep going for it. It's coming. It's coming. Can't wait to get started again. But that's what it is. So we don't think too much about falling short. Some would say you exceeded. I don't know. Like, which way do you want to look at it? Like, we won the Supporters Shield. In the future, we're going to host one game at our place, right? It won't be able to get. In many ways, it's a disadvantage. You have to go on the road. You got to play in their building where the other team typically gets good results. You got to come home with an away goal rule. It's difficult. It is difficult. And our guys don't make excuses. We don't make excuses. We just keep plugging. So we'll focus on the positives, and we'll look at ways to get better.
Michael Lewis in the front.
Hey, Chris. If
up,
this
Michael?
was Tyler Adams' last game with the team, there's just been so many reports, very possibly it will be or has been. What did you see in his development over the last 2 years, and how do you think he will succeed in Europe?
Tyler's growth, we haven't seen anything like this in this country. Christian Pulisic and Tyler Adams. I mean, after these two, those are the two, guys on our national team that show a fearlessness, a quality, big personalities, humbleness, a work ethic, maturity. I'll probably start repeating myself, courage, like if I keep going. But when we saw Tyler, even the recent article, you can read it and almost have a tear in your eye of what a gift he is. And we've seen him grow. We've seen him grow with his maturity, with how he can take over games, how he can lead. 19-year-old, leading a team in many ways. We've seen his performances with the national team, how he's a big presence in those games and a big energy. Where you put him on the field, you put him up the field tonight, things start happening. So we've seen it on every level. His understanding tactically in games, how to be more effective. So we've seen every box that you could check that it's growing rapidly. And will he exceed in Europe? I think we know that answer. It's for sure. Because he has the physical ability, he's got the mentality for Europe. He's he keeps improving, and his personality and the courage that he has, the approach every single day to get better and win, it's like I've never seen. So I've known certain players that play in Europe, and you see what he has. Yeah, he's going to do great when and if this time comes.
Christian along the wall.
Coach, when you look at this team and the way it's built with the balance and the roster, and then you look at the tactics, which are so unique in this league, do you think it correlates to playoff success, or do you think maybe there needs to be some tweaking come playoff time so that this team can finally get over that hurdle of the past 4 years?
No, I think we are who we are. And I think it's actually perfect for the playoffs, in all honesty. Hasn't brought us that trophy yet. If it's perfect if it's questionable for playoffs, would it be questionable in the last 5 games of the year? And if that's the case, in the tightest games, would it hold up when it mattered most? Against Atlanta recently, biggest game of the year. I just think that it's difficult in the playoffs. Every play's magnified, every mistake you make. It's such a fine line. So, if leg one ends up costing us, right? We lost our aggressiveness and we were not ourselves as much. You can say, actually, I think it's actually ideal for the playoffs and to win. So we'll look hard at that, and see how we can improve that, and all the time be thinking about how to stick to who we are while we're game planning, But I'm all in on this, the philosophy. Let me tell you, it's in so many ways ideal.
Brian in the back.
Chris, just to follow up on that, the tactics have always been high press, turn over the ball, score. Does that have to change in a playoff situation where it's two legs? Do you have to vary your approach so that they can't take advantage of that and put you in the disadvantage you had for the second leg?
Yeah, I mean, it's our team understands how to press up high. Our team understands how to press out of a deeper block. We've done that all year. That's nothing new. The question is, what do you do when teams just play direct? Let's just say leg one. Do you get caught in second balls? Are you trying to be too cautious? There's a question. So, high pressing is really, really nice when teams play out of the back. Like Columbus really gave us some moments to do it, but then even they abandoned their norm. Atlanta did as well. You saw the percentages of game one. I mean, nearly 25% long balls. It's hard to have a rhythm of our pressing. So it becomes more about counter pressing and compressing and controlling spaces. So, yeah, it's. I'm not sure exactly more than that, but we'll always have to think about how we can be most effective and stick to who we are, whether we're up higher or even deeper. And even if you think about the first goal in leg one, it's a cross from, we just didn't really address it outside the box, and we didn't, on the night, weren't as aggressive as we normally are.
We got time for one more. We'll go to Pardeep in the back.
Hi. Ultimately, for you, why do you think you lost the series?
Look, it comes down to making plays, right? Because we could even, tonight we win 1-0, right? We put out every fire that came our way. There's a few of those that could have went the other way. Not a ton of those, but there's a few. And on the other side of the ball, we make one play. And there's a few of those that we could do more of. And if you look at, we lost the series in leg one. We didn't make enough plays on either end of the field. In the middle of the field, we didn't. So pressing, not pressing, we have to maintain our aggressiveness no matter where we are on the field. And you now have to make plays, because if we just looked at the individual plays of goals, they're really three good finishes, but we could have prevented all three of those. So it's things are tight in the playoffs, and it's about making plays. And we give them credit because they did, and we had to make a few more of those on each end of the field. We don't have to overthink that at all.